Hey guys, how you doing? April 22nd, this is Earth Day today, so I decided to do something, well, something I wanted to do, but it kind of goes with Earth Day, yeah. On the top of on the roof of the cabin for a while now, I had two very, very small solar panels, which were like 2.5 watts each. So barely putting in a trickle charge, and I actually think that there was no charge control, a solar charge controller for those types, because it don't really need, they're too small. But the problem with that is I don't think there's a diode in it, which means that they can actually drain the batteries if they're not exposed to light, to the sun. So they kind of go both ways. Once they're not charging the battery, you kind of have to unhook them, otherwise they just drain the batteries. And I think that's one of the things that was happening with my batteries, which are not very great. I need to change them anyway, so they don't keep their charge very well. And so you have that kind of system. It's crap. So there was a really cool deal at the store in town, and I found myself a much more appropriate solar panel. I mean, it's nothing big, but then again, my boat is fairly small, and it's not very energy demanding. Actually, the most energy demanding thing is my GPS little chart plotter VHF radio unit. That's what draws the most current. So I found in this store at a really good deal a bigger solar panel. So I'll show you what I did. Both my batteries are hooked up, and this goes under the cap here, and it's connected, and you see the little yellow LED light here just saying that it's actually charging. So the wire goes there, comes out from there, snakes around this one, and goes to the roof of the cabin. Now let's see what it looks like. There you go. Much better. So that's 40 watts, which will give me a little over 2 amps with the highest output, which is much better than the very puny solar panels that I had, which I'm going to keep, of course. Like these little things, they're only 2.5 watts each. Clearly not sufficient for my uses here on the boat. But I'm going to keep those because I have a small 12-volt battery. It's about yay big on my fishing kayak that I use for my fish finder on my fishing kayak. So it's going to give me about 400 milliamps of power. Very, very small trickle charge, but for that type of battery, which is what, 9 amp hour? I mean, these are 24 batteries, not 27s or 31s. They're 24, sort of smaller ones, which is fine for my use here. And I only had one crappy one. Now I have 2 crappy ones. They were decent batteries to start, just that they don't keep their charge anymore. So I'm just waiting for the river to come down because the water is extremely high. In May of 2017, about a month after filming this video, the snow melt and the excessive rain made the water level of the Ottawa River and other water bodies reach levels that hadn't been recorded in over 100 years. I mean, several houses in low-lying areas and on the shores of several rivers were flooded, some of which were badly damaged. Some even had to be destroyed, displacing the families. Now, the flooding was not only along the Ottawa River, but in various areas in Quebec and in Ontario. In fact, my brother's property in Montreal got flooded badly, and his house was actually used as part of a dike to prevent the rest of his neighborhood to be flooded, effectively protecting his street and his neighbors. Now, fortunately for him and his family, the house itself was not damaged, and oddly and luckily, no water infiltrated the house itself. Now, that's really good foundation. He was able to go back to his home safely with his family. Eventually, the water level of the river came down and revealed quite a lot of damage in some areas and a lot of crap everywhere. In our case, although we were fairly close to the river, we were high enough that we were never really at risk. So eventually, the nice weather came back, the rain stopped, and rivers gradually drained. The water level came down, and I was getting ready to launch Soma. Before I put the boat in the water, I have to put my mooring ball in the bay here near the beach. And to do that, I need to use my inflatable boat, my dinghy, to bring it out there. the side of the transom that glues to the one of the pontoons, inflatable pontoons on the side, came undone. Once the boat is glued, although I don't need the motor to go put my mooring ball, but I need the boat to put my mooring ball and my anchorage, my mooring system. There's a lot of small steps that need to happen before I put the boat in the water, but the fact that the water is so freaking high, there's not much I can do anyways. I can't put the boat in the water anyways. On this boat, what's really cool is there's this boom here, which is a self-tacking boom, and I finally found the sail, which sail goes on it, and I found how to rig it. So there's a gooseneck here. Sail attaches to the top there, is shanked onto the forestay. The clew is attached to the end there. There's a fiddle block there, and a single block with a pop-up and a beck. So the way that you rig it is you basically have a nice bowl in here. Goes up here, down, back up, and then it goes all the way back to there's another block at the end there. And then it comes here, and then all the way back to the winch there. You can control it with a single line. So for sailing solo, it's great because you can just be in the cockpit and you have your jib halyard you can control here, bring it up. You have your main sheet here, and the self-tacking sheet would be right here. So finally, the beautiful weather's back. I can keep working to make Soma look pretty. Next time, I Repair Junior, put the mooring ball in the water and finally launch Soma in the river. See you next time.